Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Santa Rita Union School District Board special meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If we can please start off with a roll call.
Ms. Cindy Lopez.
Aye.
Mr. Neil Patel.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Sarah Turner.
Aye.
Ms. Alvariano.
Here.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval.
Here.
All members present.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, moving on to item 1.3, approval of the board agenda. Can I please get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, a second, please.
Second.
And roll call.
Ms. Lopez.
Aye.
Mr. Patel.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano.
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, today on closed session, we have item 2.1, public employee appointment/employment under Government Code Section 54957. We have item 2.2, potential litigation under Government Code Section 54956.8 and 54956.9. We also have item 2.3, conference of legal counsel regarding existing litigation in the Office of Administrative Hearings under Government Code Section 54956.9. And item 2.4, conference with labor negotiators under Government Code Section 54957.6. Do we have any public comments regarding closed session items?
No, we do not.
Okay, can I please get a motion to adjourn the closed session?
Aye. Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Lopez.
Aye.
Mr. Patel.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano.
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
We'll see everybody afterwards. Okay, welcome back. We're going to reconvene back into open session. The board approved a settlement agreement in the Office of Administrative Hearing Case number 2023-05-0025. The vote was 5-0. Okay, moving on to item 5.1, approval of the consent agenda item for items 5.2. I'm sorry, there's just, oh, just it. Oh, sorry, it threw me off. Usually there's like several consent agendas. Okay. Approve consent item number 5.2. If I can please get a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, do we have public comments regarding non-agenda items?
No, there's no public comment.
And no items, public comments regarding agenda items either?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 7.1, approve contract with Tumbleson Incorporated for the installments of new restroom at Santa Rita Elementary School.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. That is my item. This is for the installation of the restroom unit and all the civil work that goes on into it with all the hookups and everything for that. And Tomlinson was the lowest bidder out of the three, and he's responsible, so I would recommend that.
Okay, perfect. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel? Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, item 7.2, approve contract with Tumbleson Incorporated for the modular locker room sites work at John Gutierrez Middle School.
As I had mentioned before, again, this is my agenda item again, I'm sorry. As I mentioned before, we got to stop on the Division of State Architects on the plans for the locker rooms and everything. However, we can still do most of the civil work and all of the branch circuitry that goes out to these buildings during the summer. So we're going to take advantage of it and, try to get it done, and it's within budget.
Okay, and is this for including the units themselves, or just for the underground work?
No, this is just for all the underground work and the play area where it's parabolic and that's going to be flat.
Okay,
So this is regrading that whole area.
okay. Can I get a motion to approve?
Well, I just have a question. I'm seeing we only got one bid on here, so the other ones there was nothing.
That is correct. We had 3 contractors on there. However, they couldn't bid on it. A lot of them have too much work, number one. A lot of them can't bid that much higher solely because they have to provide liquid assets for the total amount of the contracts, plus the payment bonds, the performance bonds. And so their abilities are kind of
Okay.
limited. Fortunately, this contractor is out of Salinas with all of the Salinas workers right now.
Thank you. I motion.
Okay, good question. Yeah. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 8.1 is approval of the MOU between the Santa Rita and SRUSD regarding the extension of COVID-19 leave and additional professional development days.
Thank you. This is actually 2 MOU agreements that were passed together by SRTA. We consulted with them regarding their request for an extension of the California supplemental COVID leave from January 1st through the end of this school year to be able to use anything that they had remaining in those banks. And also, they had a request for an additional bank of COVID leave days. And then we had a request for some additional professional development days that would be mandatory for SRTA unit members. So these 2 MOUs were approved as one vote by the SRTA members, and we are excited to be able to move forward with them.
Can I get a motion to approve?
I'm okay with extending the COVID all the way through 2022, but, I'm sorry, but it says December 2024, additional 10? Is that per?
So it would be one bank of 10 days, but over the span of 18 months to use it. And the reason that we extended into that second school year out is because the professional development days are for 2 years. They're for this August and the 24-25 school year. And so in this way, both agreements touch both school years, but it's one bank of 10 days. It's not a bank of 10 days each school year.
Oh, so you're just extending their ability to use the 10 days as opposed to giving them additional days? Is that?
It's an additional 10 days that they may use between the start of the coming school year, so between August, technically July, and through the end of that school year, and then up until the winter break the following school year.
Okay.
My concern is the fact that, we already have sick days, that have been negotiated. This is an individual illness. How many more illnesses will we keep adding on top of that 10 days? Do we create an exception for every new disease that comes out? I'm just kind of
I
curious.
think we do create an exception for this, and the reason is why if any of our employees test positive for COVID and they have used up their sick leave, they could turn around and say that it's a work comp injury because we basically couldn't prove that they didn't get COVID at work. And we'd end up having to pay for the time anyway.
And why would COVID be any different than, say, the flu or respiratory virus or a host of other contagious, seasonal, if not annual?
Well, I think one argument is that they could bring in a positive COVID test, which for other diseases, theoretically, you could bring in a doctor's note. But as I said, I've discussed this with my own union and basically talked about, like, even if they don't extend the leave, we would have to do it the other way.
At this time, there's still a mandatory 5-day quarantine period, which is not in place for other illnesses. And so that's one reason. It's because it's a mandatory 5 days if you test positive. If you test positive with the flu, many times people come back after 2 or 3 days. Also, what Sarah was saying about workers' comp is there is law under Cal OSHA that it is the burden of proof is on the district for workers' comp to prove that someone did not contract it at school.
Not only that, but I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but not only is there a 5-day, still that has to be, but I believe CDA is going, even though they've leaned back and, masks are not mandatory, whatnot, I think it's still 2025 that they're still with a lot of other things that are on there. So, yeah.
I'm going to vote for it, but I just feel uncomfortable with the fact that here we are so many years after the fact and, 2024, December, I'm all about protecting our employees, but, there are a host of contagious diseases and that's part of the job description. You deal with elementary students and they got snots going everywhere, mucus and all, God knows what else. And blood and God knows, and so to isolate one particular illness and giving it preferential treatment. And my question is, what kind of can of worms does that open up for the future as additional illnesses are detected and, tests created for and are contagious and, so thank you for your explanation. I appreciate that. I wanted to understand where he was coming from. So, but I'm just letting the board know that I feel uncomfortable creating a special exception to one particular illness, amongst thousands that are out there.
So for example, in this case, like if somebody gets COVID, they're out for 5 days, right? And so they would, if we didn't have this, then they would have to use their sick days, right? Even though after 2 or 3 days they're feeling better, which normally they would have to kind of come back. Or normally like they had the cold and they got better after 2 days and they would only 2 days. But this day it's like you're out for 5 days and if you use your sick days then you're kind of out. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Patel. But I do feel like it's important, especially for mandatory employees, you're out 5 days and then could cut up your sick days. So, but it's good we had a conversation about it because I learned a lot too.
Having said that, I am going to motion to approve.
Great, thank you. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, moving on to item 8.2, approval of one new full-time employee for school social worker.
I'm going to let Summer talk about this item as this FTE will support her department.
So across the board, we've heard from families and from our staff that we need more social workers on our campuses. And so we're looking to hire, though we could definitely use one more at every site, especially at our middle schools. That's just not a feasible option at this time. And so we really want to look at beginning with adding a district social worker that will be available to support at all of our sites, specifically around our suicide risk assessment and our threat assessment, really leading those aspects to support our sites.
Great, now I'm extremely supportive of this, so can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, our next regular board meeting will be June 14th. And then we're also having our board workshop
On the 24th.
on the 24th. Is there any suggested future board items? I'm sure our board retreat will probably bring up a lot of stuff there. Yeah, I imagine so. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn at 6:17?
Motion.
Good God, man, did you say 6:17?
Yeah.
I think that's the fastest I've ever seen it there, Alva. Is that true?
Yeah.
That would have been shorter. I'm just kidding. I missed you, Neil.
Get in line, sunshine, get in line.
Do we still need a second?
Yeah, we can second. Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lopez?
Aye.
Mr. Patel?
Aye, aye, Captain.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Ms. Ariano?
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, have a nice evening, everybody.